Christ is in our midst. Welcome to Spiritual Calisthenics. Today, on March 1st, we commemorate the holy righteous martyr Eudocia the Samaritan. Regarding this saint, who was from Heliopolis of Phoenicia, which is present-day Lebanon, she was an idolater and led a licentious life. Being beautiful beyond telling, she had many lovers and had acquired great riches. Yet brought to repentance by a monk named Germanos and baptized by Bishop Theodoros, she distributed to the poor all her ill-gotten gains and entered a convent, giving herself up completely to the life of asceticism. Her former lovers, enraged at her conversion, her refusal to return to her old ways, and the withering away of her beauty through the severe mortifications she practiced, betrayed her as a Christian to Vincent the governor, and she was beheaded according to some under Trajan, who reigned from 98 to 117. According to others under Hadrian, who reigned from 117 to 138. The image of God was faithfully preserved in you, O Mother, for you took up the cross and followed Christ. By your actions you taught us to look beyond the flesh for it passes, rather to be concerned about the soul, which is immortal. Wherefore, O holy Eudocia, your soul rejoices with the angels. Regarding the prophecy of Isaiah, for out of Zion shall go forth the law and the word of the Lord from Jerusalem. He shall judge the people from the nations, and shall decide it for many peoples, and they shall beat their swords into plowshares, and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation shall not lift sword against nation, neither shall they learn war any more. So in other words, when Christ comes in his second coming, all war will be put to end. And this is the prophecy of what Christ means to be. Because as of right now, all things are geared towards war. Nation is constantly against nation. And so this is a prophecy of what Christ will bring to the world. From the book of Genesis, chapter 1. And God said, let the earth bring forth living creatures according to their kind, cattle and creeping things and beasts of the earth according to their kind. And it was so. And God made the beasts of the earth according to their kinds, and the cattle according to their kinds, and everything that creeps upon the ground according to its kind. And God saw that it was good. So, as I said before, when we look at this in accordance with the Big Bang and with scientific thought about how animals develop, we see the different phylum, we see the different animals, the different species, that there are different kinds, and that within these kinds, they're able to propagate and multiply. Then God said, let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the birds of the air, and over the cattle, and all the earth, and every other creeping thing that creeps upon the earth. So when it says us, it is of course plural, the Holy Trinity. And when it says dominion, it means to dominate. Now dominate can mean two things. One, it can mean to beat into submission, which is inappropriate, or it can mean to have proper title as basically the person that is over something for someone else, someone that is the dominator, that is standing on top of something for another person. So for example, when we see statues in different places, this would be shown to say that, okay, this person, the likeness of the statue, has power here. We see this with currency as well. And so man is supposed to be representing this over all of creation, over all the animals, and over all the land. That because we are made in the image and likeness of God, we show God's dominion over the entire earth and all creation. So God created man in his own image. In the image of God he created him. Male and female he created them, and God blessed them. And God said to them, be fruitful and multiply, and fill the earth and subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the birds of the air, and over every living thing that moves upon the earth. God said, behold, I have given you every plant yielding seed, which is upon the face of the earth, and every tree with seed its fruit. You shall have them for food. And to every beast of the earth, and to every bird of the air, and to everything that creeps on the earth, everything that has the breath of life, I have given green plant for food. And so it was so. And God saw everything that he had made, and behold, it was very good. And there was evening and there was morning, a sixth day. Now, this is important because it's showing us that at that time in the garden, there was no carnivorous action. Everything was eating plants. And it also shows us that God said it was very good at this point, meaning that the creation was complete, that everything was spectacular. Everything else was good, but when he made man and woman, he said it was very good. It is also important for us to understand that this is the start of where we have two creation stories. So in this creation story, at the beginning of Genesis 1, we see God creating man and woman immediately, Anir and Gineka. And so this is important because We do not have yet the story of Adam being put into a trance and having Eve taken from one of his ribs. And this is important too because, as we'll see when we get to that reading, that there's this concept of the idea that woman is somehow less than man, when that's not true. It shows that they were made equal right from the beginning. Thus the heavens and the earth were finished, and all the host of them. And on the seventh day God finished his work which he had done, and he rested on the seventh day from all his work which he had done. So God blessed the seventh day and hallowed it, because on it God rested from all the work which he had done in creation. Now, of course, this day, the day of rest, the day of Sabbath, is important for us because it shows us that God himself is willing to rest, and that is important for us as well, that we all need to be able to rest. So, as I said before, we'll read from Proverbs just for edification. My son, if you receive my words and treasure up my commandments with you, making your ear attentive to wisdom and inclining your heart to understanding, yes, if you cry out for insight and raise your voice for understanding, if you seek it like silver and search for it as hidden treasures, then you will understand the fear of the Lord and find knowledge of God. For the Lord gives wisdom from his mouth, and come knowledge and understanding. He stores up sound wisdom for the upright. He is a shield to those who walk in integrity, guarding the paths of justice and preserving the ways of his saints. Then you will understand righteousness and justice and equity, every good path, for wisdom will come into your heart, and knowledge will be pleasant to your soul. Discretion will watch over you, understanding will guard you, delivering you from the way of evil, from men of perverted speech, who forsake the paths of uprightness to walk in the ways of darkness, who rejoice in doing evil and delight in the perverseness of evil, men whose paths are crooked and who are devious in their ways. You will be saved from the loose woman, from the adventuress with her smooth words, who forsakes the companion of her youth and forgets the covenant of her God. For her house sinks down into death, and her paths to the shades. None who go to her come back, nor do they regain the path of life. So you will walk in the way of good men, and keep to the paths of the righteous. For the upright will inhabit the land, and men of integrity will remain in it. But the wicked will be cut off from the land, and the treacherous will be rooted out of it. I hope that you've enjoyed today's Spiritual Calisthenics. Have a blessed and wonderful day.